You are 19 years old sitting in a chair in a flight school lounge with no windows eating cold ramen because you spent your last $10 on a fuel surcharge. You are staring at a tuition bill $4,120,000 that has not even begun to accrue interest, and you are wondering if a private pilot license is worth the price of a starter home. Fast forward 20 years. You are sitting in the seat of a Boeing 787 Dreamliner, 35,000 feet over the Atlantic. You are clearing $450,000 a year. You have not touched a flight control in 4 hours because the automation is doing the lifting, and you have spent the morning managing a personal investment portfolio and a union pension fund worth millions. Between those two moments sits a trade where the barrier to entry is a mountain of debt and the barrier to success is a 1,500-hour wall of pure grit. This is every level of a pilot's career in America and what it actually costs to climb. If you want to understand how the commercial pilots, the ones people call sky gods, actually made it and how to replicate the formula for your financial ascent, stick around. This is Finox Finance.
Level 1. The Student Pilot App. You are 19 years old. You are at a Part 141 flight academy or a mom and pop flight school. The sky is not a playground yet, it is a classroom that costs $250 an hour to sit in. You are flying a Cessna 172 that was built before your father was born. The cockpit smells like sweat, old vinyl, and 100 LL avgas. Your first hurdle is the private pilot license. You need a minimum of 40 hours. The national average is closer to 60 or 70 hours. You are learning the feel, how to coordinate a turn, how to talk to a tower controller without your voice cracking, and how to land without bouncing the nose gear of the Cessna 172. You spend $15,000 to $20,000 to get the right to carry your friends for a $100 hamburger. You are not stopping there. You stack the instrument rating next. Another $10,000. You are learning to fly in the soup, staring at a six-pack of gauges and trusting the math over your ear. Then comes the commercial pilot license. You need 250 hours total. By the time you pass your multi-engine check ride, you have spent $100,000 to $120,000. You have a card in your wallet that says you can get paid to fly the Cessna 172 or other planes, but nobody will hire you. You have 250 hours of flying experience. To an airline, you are a liability, not an asset.
Level 2. The Time Builder, CFI. You are 21 years old. You are broke. The only way to reach the 1,500-hour finish line is to become a certified flight instructor, CFI. You spend another $5,000 on the rating. Now your job is to sit in that small Cessna for 8 hours a day while a student tries to stall the airplane into the ground. You are making $25 to $40 an hour. Only when the engine is running. If it rains, you do not get paid. If the plane is in maintenance, you do not get paid. Your annual income is roughly $35,000. You are living in a shared apartment with 3 instructors eating the same ramen you had in flight school. This is the life of aviation. You are grinding out 80 to 100 hours a month, logging every minute in a leather-bound logbook like it is gold. You learn more in these 1,200 hours than you did in your training. You learn what a near miss feels like. You learn how to read weather patterns than a meteorologist. You are not just flying, you are surviving the grind of being a certified flight instructor, CFI. You are working hard to get through the 1,500-hour requirement. The certified flight instructor, CFI, job is tough. You are learning a lot from it. Level 3. The Regional First Officer. You have finally reached the number 1,500 hours. Now you can take the test for your Airline Transport Pilot, ATP, certificate. This is a big deal in aviation. It is like getting a PhD. After you get your certificate, you can get a job with an airline, which people call the miners. You will be flying a CRJ 900 or an Embraer 175. The pay for this job used to be very low, but now, because there are not pilots, you can start with a salary of $90,000 a year and even get a sign-on bonus. However, do not think that this is a lot of money. You might be based in a city like New York or Chicago. You will probably live in a place like Florida because that is where you can afford to buy a house. This is when you will learn about the crash pad. It is an apartment near the airport where many pilots live. There are a lot of beds in this apartment. You will pay $300 a month to sleep in one of them, but only when you are not flying. You will be the first officer, FO, which is also called the co-pilot. You will go on trips that last for 4 days. You will have to live out of a suitcase. You will eat food from the airport. You will always be waiting to get called up to the bigger airlines, which people call the majors. This can be very stressful. It is known as flow-through anxiety. While you are flying, you will be in charge of the FMC, flight management computer. The radio and the captain will make the final decisions. You will have to learn all of the standard operating procedures, SOPs, for this kind of flying. Every time you land the plane, it will be like a test to see how well you are doing.
Level 4. The Major/Legacy First Officer, URI 28. The call finally comes. United, Delta, American or Southwest, you've made it to those airlines called legacy carriers. Your pay jumps away. As a first officer on a plane like a Boeing 737, you're making $150,000 to $200,000. You're back at the bottom of the seniority list. Seniority is a deal in flying. It decides your schedule, what plane you fly, and where you're based. You're on reserve, sitting by your phone in a hotel room waiting for the airline to call you because someone else got sick. You spend holidays in a Marriott in Cleveland while your family is at home. The math starts to change. You aren't a pilot. You're a risk manager. You're in charge of a $100 million aircraft and 180 people. You start putting money into a 401k with a 16% direct contribution from the airline. You stop thinking about the price of noodles and start thinking about how much money your side businesses can make. Level 5. The captain asks, you are 35 years old. You have moved up in your career. You have 4 stripes on your shoulder. You get to sit in the left seat. You are the pilot in command. The responsibility is all yours. If the plane has a problem when it is going really fast, you have to decide whether to keep flying or stop. If someone on the plane gets really sick when you are flying over the Pacific Ocean, you have to decide where to land the plane. As a captain of a plane, you make around $300,000. If you start flying planes like the 777 or the A350, you can make more than $400,000. You usually fly 75 hours every month. You get 15 days off. People think you are really important because you get to fly a plane. Being a pilot is not easy on your body. You have been breathing the air and flying across different time zones for a long time. This has really messed up your sleep schedule. The FAA first class medical checkup is something that you worry about. If your heart does not beat right or your blood pressure gets too high, the FAA can take away your license to fly. This would be really bad because flying is the way you can make money. That is why you pay for insurance in case you can no longer fly a plane. The pilot in command has to be careful because your hands are what help you make a living.
Level 6. Seniority and equity. You are 45 years old. You are at the top of the ladder. You have seniority number 1 in your base. You only fly the routes you want to fly. You spend 3 days a week in London or Tokyo. The rest of the time at your home in the mountains. At this level, you move into union leadership like ALPA or Aviation consultancy. You are not just flying planes, you are negotiating contracts that affect 15,000 pilots. You are talking about labor margins and pension funding and scope clauses. You are an executive who happens to wear a uniform. You sign off on your check ride not with a flight instructor but with a wealth manager. Your net worth is in the multi-millions because of 2 decades of income and compound interest. You are the owner of your career's equity. You have seniority number 1. You have worked hard to get to this point. You are in charge of your career and you have made a lot of money from it. You have seniority number 1. You are at the top of the ladder.
The final beat asks,
the trade ever asked you to do one thing: navigate. The Cessna you stalled in at 19 is long gone, probably sold to another kid with a dream. The Boeing you fly today will be turned into soda cans before you reach the mandatory retirement age of 65. The trade outlives the man, the airline, and the airframe. The sky is the office where the view never gets old, but it is an office that charges you in blood, sweat, and missed birthdays. You stayed with the trade. You kept showing up for the 3 a.m. alarms. You navigated the debt, the crash pads, and the seniority lists. If you are ready to start your climb in the trade, hit the like button and subscribe to this. We break down the math of the world's paying trade so you can turn your labor into equity in the trade. The flight deck is open for you to navigate. The line is yours in the trade. Locked. Now. Navigate ****.